From the Shooting from the Lip studio in Louisville, Kentucky, it's the KT Unearthly Show with your hosts, Kevin Hale and Tiffany Mac.
Let's bring on our KT Unearthly Show special correspondent. She is live with us right now, Queen Colleen.
Yes, she
Queen.
is.
What's up, Queenie?
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah, you are here. You're live and in living color.
We were going to discuss some ghost stories that we have. You up for it?
You got a story?
I do have a couple stories.
Let's hear a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Biltmore.
Okay, the Biltmore at Coral Gables in Miami, Florida. Now, I don't know, Kevin, if you know who I'm married to, but I don't want to say a whole lot because he doesn't want to be recognized or talked about. But he's a brilliant...
He's a very private figure.
He's very private, yeah.
If you're Queen Colleen, then he must be King Colleen, right?
We call him Big Daddy.
We call him Big Daddy.
Okay, Big Daddy works.
Okay.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay. He's a brilliant, private, very opinionated, but he does when he says his opinions, it's facts, factually based. So he doesn't talk about things that haven't happened, and when something does happen, if it's scary, he doesn't want to talk about it again. But he will say, I was there. I saw it. But we were down at the Biltmore, which we had already read about, and his company actually had told us some of the story about during World War II, they used the Biltmore as a hospital, and there were some ghost stories, supposedly. So I was a little skeptic, a little afraid, because of, like Tiffany had told you, our family history. A lot of the women, plus my dad, had some weird happenings. I can't explain them, just happens. Don't question them. So anyway, we go to our room this particular night, had a wonderful day with the company, go to our bedroom, and I'm standing in the room, beautiful room. The air conditioners, the funny thing about this hotel is it's old. Some of the floors are kind of, they creep, like when you walk on them, the floors kind of make sounds. You know it's old, by the heating and air that was in the building. It wasn't real cool. So you kind of felt
old registers on the wall.
Yeah. It felt different than what we were used to. But you could tell all the history with the architecture. So we go in our room that night for the evening, and he's ready to, he's laying in the bed, and I'm standing beside the bed. We had this old, I call it an armoire. Tiffany, correct me if I'm wrong, where the door's shut and the TV was inside it. Mm-hmm. So we're both looking at it. The doors were completely open to the side. The left one to the left, the right one to the right. And we were talking, and one of the doors completely closed shut in front of both of us. Now,
so what
did you
do when you saw that?
Well, I thought I was going to pass out. I was scared to death. But Big Daddy was laying in the bed, and honestly, he pulled the sheet over his head. He said he saw it. He pulled the sheet over his head. And I'm not kidding. I didn't hear a peep or see him till the next morning. That was it. And this was a man who was in the infantry, drafted during Vietnam, went to OCS, strong,
big guy,
burly, big guy. He's not one to jump into trouble, but he doesn't question it. He saw it, and he will tell you he saw it. But, I wonder, I don't know what happened. Did the floor move? I don't know. But the way it was it just shut so carefully was very, very spooky. And it shut just so deliberately in front of our eyes that nothing else moved. Mm-hmm. That was very spooky, knowing the history of the hotel also. Very, very spooky.
Oh.
And I have another one where...
Do you now?
I do. Last year... there was earthquakes in California, and we go out to Napa Valley every fall. And we were supposed to be staying at the Westin Hotel, where the Westin had damage due to water because of the earthquake. So they had to close the hotel down. So, we didn't have anywhere to stay. So right before, a few days before we were supposed to be going, the hotel manager for the Westin called and said, we have another place for you to stay. Our hotel is damaged. So, we thought that was very nice. They accommodated us at another hotel. So we're going to the Best Western, which was in Napa. It was very nice. It wasn't, it wasn't the Westin, but it was very nice. It had food, breakfast. It was nice. So Carl and I go in there, same thing, go to bed, and he falls asleep. I fall asleep, and I hear a loud sound. I don't know what it was, and he kind of has gotten creeped out or scared by things that happen in our family. I mean, it's just very, and he'll tell you, I don't want to talk about it. He will say he knows about it, but he doesn't want to talk. Well, that night, I opened my eyes, and as I looked across the room, he always wants like a little suite, with 2 rooms so that he can get up and do his, watch TV or whatever, read the paper or whatever in the morning. So I look across the room when I hear the noise, and there's something standing in the other room. Mm-hmm. And it was shadowy. And I was so afraid again that I couldn't get my voice out. And all I could do is tap his bald head. He's bald-headed on top. And and of course my family, he's always been bald-headed.
Why can't you just say you tapped his head? Why do you have to throw the bald in?
No, he's always been this way. I've never known him with hair.
Bro code.
No. He loves it. No, he loves that. Right. He feels very manly because of it. I tap him with my pointer finger. This is the truth. I'm scared to death. I tapped him with my pointer finger a few times, and I couldn't think I was going to be able to wake him. I couldn't get my voice out, so I tap him again, and he asked me what was wrong, and I said, there's someone standing in the other room. Well, he saw it too, and he kind of just paused, and he ended up, I said, turn the light on. I finally got my voice out, turn the light on. So he turned the light on, and there wasn't anything there. He did see it. I saw it. And again, could have been shadows. I don't know. But it was so scary. Again, Kevin, you tell me.
You basically what you're saying is you and the bald guy had the same dream?
Me and the bald. No way.
They were awake.
No, I was awake. No way. No, because I couldn't go back to sleep after that.
Where is Russ when I need him, Tiffany?
Hopefully in bed. Don't call him.
Wait. Colleen, have you met Russ or talked to Russ?
No.
Has Russ? What have you got to hear him? Russ is he's the total opposite of. He will challenge. Yeah, us
in general.
He would what? Challenge me?
Oh yeah.
He'd want to know
okay,
if you were drunk.
Because I can tell you.
If you were drunk. High,
I wasn't drunk. No, I don't drink very. Yes. I don't drink very much, so that could never be an answer. Don't do drugs.
Smoke? Do you smoke?
No, do not smoke. Worked for tobacco industry. Never smoked. Do not smoke. No.
Really?
No. Yes, but I'm telling you, it was so scary. How do you explain it? It's unexplained. It's like unidentified objects.
Snort?
Let's talk about one of those.
Snort? Do you snort, Colleen?
No, I don't. Tiffany does, not I. I don't.
Tiffany snorts. Yes, Tiffany, I don't know. Actually, she's been good tonight. I don't think... Usually, I gauge my sense of comedy with Tiffany. Usually if I get a few snorts out of Tiffany during a show, my comedy is... I got good comedy.
You got game. Right.
But tonight, I don't... really didn't... I couldn't get into my comedy game tonight, Tiffany. Yeah, it was
I did, Kevin.
It was tonight.
Okay, Kevin, I did have a question for Annie. Mm-hmm. When she was talking about the box with the deed in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I sent Tiffany a message because I don't know because I'm always texting Tiffany, during your broadcast. I would love to know if someone could hold if she ever let people hold that box if they did feel anything. Or if something ever happened.
You didn't ask that question.
I tried to send it to Tiffany, but there's so much. It's hard for you and her to focus if I'm sending you messages.
That's not true. Tiffany
I tried to.
We're multitaskers, but yes.
Tiffany and I during the show are messaging each other on Facebook, via Messenger. Yeah, there's a lot of texting. And,
but wouldn't it be interesting? Yeah. Wouldn't it be interesting to know if at one of her tea parties, if she got that out each time and passed it? I mean, I don't know how much you believe in the spirit world or whatever, but wouldn't it be interesting to know if something kind of strange might happen? Like she's saying a light is flickering. It's just kind of odd to me, out of the blue.
Oh, I agree. And, she said, yeah, that was when she said I was sharing a specific story or something, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of spooky to me. I can't explain it. I get more weird feelings from things. I can't explain what happens. Like Big Daddy, he tells
let's
me.
Let's talk about when you first met him and the thing that disappeared. This is a great story.
I don't know if I can.
Wait a minute, what thing disappeared? Is that like R-rated?
Yeah, in a way.
Not really. Well, go ahead and say it.
No, I don't want to say it.
Just say it.
It's a personal part of a man's
underwear.
Uniform underwear kind of deal. I don't want to say it on, but it disappeared. Yes, thank you very much.
You made his jock strap disappear?
It disappeared, and I knew nothing about it. He told me that it had disappeared, and so I didn't know what he was talking about. It disappeared. This is honest truth, and he would tell you again. It happened. That's about all he'll tell you about it. But I went to
just moved in. She'd just moved in. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Yeah, and I had a dream about it. I don't know why I had a dream, and I knew nothing about his house. And I'm the type, grew up in the Air Force. You don't touch things, don't belong to you. The house didn't feel like mine yet, and I didn't even know this room existed in his house. It was a storage room, and I dreamed that I found his piece of clothing article in the storage room in a pink clothes hamper. So I woke up and I told him, I said, I found it. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, I found your piece of clothing. Yes. And I told him where it was, and we went down there, and there it was. And that was his first experience with me, experiencing weird. It's very strange. I mean, I don't understand it.
And for the record, Tiffany, these are your parents, right?
Sort of.
Well, this just explains everything I've come to know and love about you.
Yeah. It's very odd. Don't you think that's odd?
It is.
An article I've never seen. And then I dream about it.
In a room you've never seen.
I didn't even know the door existed in this basement that was now becoming mine. And we go down there, and there it was. But anyway, now he'll say...
That was probably the first freak out of many.
Yeah. He'll just say, you're starting to scare me. That's what he'll say now. Yeah. You're starting to scare me.
All right, check this out. I got someone calling in who is not a believer in the paranormal. State your name.
I can tell it's Russ because there's a lot of people talking in the background.
Russ.
We're down at the lake for 4th of July weekend.
Russ, we just had a great paranormal show tonight. An author came on and shared all of her ghost stories. And, Tiffany and I, and Tiffany's mom right now is on the phone. Colleen, Russ, Colleen. There's the formal invite.
Hey,
and,
Colleen.
We were just having a good vibe with the whole paranormal thing, and I thought I would bring you on so you would just, shoot us down from our buzz.
Well, I mean, the best vibe to have would be to, get some proof of it and show it to the guy in Canada who will give you $1 million if you can prove it. So that's the thing about the paranormal stuff. Lots of people have a good story, but when it comes down to showing any kind of empirical evidence or any kind of proof, people fall way, way short.
Got that, Tiff?
Yeah, I do. But unless you're a sensitive person to these things, it's all fantasy until it actually happens.
Yeah.
That's to Russ's point. Russ, if you can humor me for a few seconds, walk away from the background noise. Just give me a few minutes with you.
Yeah, I'm as far as I can be from it right now.
Okay, you're fine. All right, actually, that's better.
Yeah. Okay.
But the guest tonight came on, and she writes these incredible ghost stories. I would say incredible. She shared some of the stories from Louisville. She had a couple stories here that I want to experience. Do you know the place Hot Rod Haven, Russ?
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard? I was there back in the day. I experienced something paranormal. That was my little epiphany into the dark side, if you will.
Yeah, well, the human mind, what people don't like to acknowledge in these things is the human mind seeks patterns even where there are none. And it's what you have to ask yourself, and I forget which philosopher came up with it, but Christopher Hitchens had quoted him, and he said, what you have to ask yourself, if you see something that spins laws or that is outside of the laws of physics or outside of the laws of nature, what's more likely, that you are under a misapprehension or you have misinterpreted something, or that something magical just happened or something transcendent or otherworldly just happened? Most of the time, for almost every human being throughout history, most likely you're under a misapprehension. You've misinterpreted. I mean, people have different experiences, and the mind can play, pretty good games and pretty good tricks on people. But unfortunately, in the type of humans we are right now have been around for at least 100,000 years. And in that 100,000 years, there is no culture or no folklore that shows any kind of proof of not only a ghost, but not even a god. There's no proof of any god. The people who believed in Zeus and Thor, they believed in Zeus and Mount Olympus as much as the Christians believe in Jesus. And guess what? There is exactly the same amount of evidence for both of those, which is zero. So,
see, I told you, if we wanted to come off our high, all I need to do is bring Russ on, Colleen and Tiffany. Exactly.
There probably really is more evidence of, there's definitely more evidence of unidentified flying objects. Now, whether they are extraterrestrial or not, there's not any evidence that's out in the public forum that shows that they're extraterrestrial. But
Tiffany has woke up with bruises, Russ.
Well,
well, let's not get into that one. My husband beats me occasionally, but
stop. I love Chris. Don't
just
not
kidding.
say that.
All right. They're not fingerprint bruises like around certain areas of the body, are they? Like sometimes you gotta.
Remember, my mom is online.
Russ,
Yes.
Tiffany's mother refers to her significant other as Big Daddy. I refer to you as Big Daddy. Can you collaborate the two?
People have their own reasons for their stuff. I'm not gonna speculate on into either one of those, actually.
Okay. Colleen, do you have a question for Russ? He is on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to God, when it comes to the paranormal, things that you've experienced. What would you ask someone of Russ's intelligence, give an opinion on, and something that you believe or have experienced?
I guess, I'm really not sure how to say this. If you don't really believe in a God, this generally for anyone, I wonder what you would pray to or who you would pray to if you really had something bad going on in your life.
That's just it. There's nobody to pray to.
Okay.
The only thing you can do is now, don't get me wrong, I think positive energy is one of the most probably useful tools that we have. And if you can get, and I think that's what people mistake, the people who actually get together and, are concentrating on something in a very positive manner, I think that positive energy does a couple of things. One, it motivates people. Two, people can play off that energy and actually start to move in an actual direction that will help themselves. They say, with God you can move mountains, but you got to start pushing first. Well, unfortunately, there's no God, but there are mountains, and if you want to move it, you probably do need to start pushing. So all that is it's just inspirational. People, you can have, a spiritual side, but the problem is people if you were born in Pakistan, you would be Muslim. If you were born in India, you'd be Hindu. It's only an accident of geography that anybody is even Christian. It's only an accident of geography that anybody is anything other than, what they're born into. You're born into something. You're a pattern-seeking individual. You want, something bigger. You want something transcendent. So you say, oh, well, look here, this book of the Bible just happens to be here. Great. The Gideons left it on my hotel table. That's awesome. That's why you believe that. If you were born in other parts of the world, you would believe different stuff.
Russ, this is the first time that I've actually agreed with you. I appreciate the fact that you've been a little bit more descriptive than you usually are. And I do believe that. I agree with you 100%. But I do believe that people who have faith lean on it, whatever that faith entails, I think that it can be a form of support, and I don't think you should fault people for having a belief in a deity.
If that's all it
because
was,
it's what they grew up. It's what they grew up knowing. You're absolutely right.
If that's all it was, it wouldn't be a problem. Security blankets are fine. It's just that children usually outgrow their security blankets, and faith is a security blanket. The problem is that faith is associated with books that were written 2,000 years ago that have horrible things in them. And in this day and age, just one of the prime examples is Congress is overwhelmingly Christian. And there are people in Congress that not only think that global warming isn't real, but they think that the soul enters a zygote, the human embryo, as soon as it gets fertilized, that a human soul enters that thing. And that has prevented people from doing one of the most promising medical advances in our entire history, which is stem cell research. I mean, there are burn victims. There are little, children burn victims that stem cells could regenerate, if applied correctly, could regenerate their skin and not leave them scarred and maimed for life. It's spinal surgery, people with cerebral palsy. This stem cell research is one of the most cutting-edge things there is. But because people have that wretched thing that they call faith in a book that was written 2,000 years ago, they say, no, you can't do that. You can't do stems. There are more cells in the brain of a fly than there is in a human blastocyst, which is that's the first 4 or 5 days of a fertilized egg. It's called a blastocyst. There are more cells in the brain of a fly than that, and they don't want medical people to do research because they're afraid, that that's a soul in there. That's how.
Well, it's still happening. I mean, there's still research.
Hold that thought. I've got something. I'm gonna pose this question to Tiffany and Colleen, because I know they have their faith in a higher power. I actually have a belief in a higher power, not so much a faith, but a belief. I don't have a faith. I have a belief in some type of higher power. But I think Tiffany and Colleen, your higher power, is it safe to say? I'll start with Tiffany first. Is your higher power, Tiffany, a loving higher power? Yes, sir. It's a yes or no question.
I think that there's a lot more than just a loving higher power. I think that
that's
we have a lot more. I mean, I've been exposed to a lot more, and I'm not sure what is an ultimate supreme being, but I know that there's a lot more out there than you and me. And
I agree.
Their intentions may be good, bad, indifferent. They may think of us as flies. I will swat a fly and I'll kill them.
There you go.
Colleen,
you know what I'm saying? What about you? Is your higher power, is your God a loving God, higher power?
I believe it is.
Do you?
Yes.
Now that's your true
belief. Yes, I do believe that. It is my true belief.
Before I turn Russ loose,
that's okay. That's okay. I'm good with different opinions.
I know you are. I know, babe.
Yeah.
And I'll say is that here's an even better question. If you can acknowledge him as a loving God, can you equally acknowledge him as a hateful God?
I don't think of it that way, no.
Why not?
I think that he lets things happen that we choose.
Oh, that's the cop-out. That's the cop.
No, that's truly how I believe.
Right? No,
I don't think that. I don't believe in coincidences either.
No, I don't believe in coincidences either. Shit just happened.
So when a priest molest a child, that's not a coincidence. That was God.
No, that's humanity. Humanity is wicked.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. And that's not the devil. That's not the devil jumping in here either, is it?
That's just humanity. I mean, we're faulted. We have
but
faults,
why,
and we're
if there's a loving God? If there's a loving God, why isn't that loving God not in the first line of defense for a defenseless child? Why would he not?
I read a pretty good meme the other day. It said, the difference between me and your God is if I had the power to stop someone from molesting a child, I would.
Ooh,
well, I would too, but I think that some people have free will and there's evil people in this world.
Isn't God Almighty though? That's what I've always. I would think the the believers who love their God.
Tim Tebow win football games. I mean, he helps people win football games every week.
We have a Tim Tebow sighting tonight.
Oh, jeez. This could go so many different ways.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Hold this, and we are getting. And Russ, I'm cutting into your family time, and I'm sorry. I love you. You know, I'm so thankful you come on tonight, Tiffany. And you're on vacation, and we're after midnight. But you know what? I think what we have figured out tonight is that the four of us can actually have a show on.
Oh, great.
On this topic, and what we'll do, Tiffany and Russ, is that we'll do it on I think we're gonna do it on a Monday night where I am going to beg callers to call in with their God, no God beliefs, and just have to me, I love the paranormal. You know that, Tiffany, and you know that, Russ.
Oh yeah.
I love sports. But when it comes down to the one topic that I will choose over sports, paranormal, is religion. Because I just think, to me, there is so broad. And I have my opinions on it. Russ obviously has his. And then the people who do believe in God and their loving God have theirs. It just makes for a very great conversation. So
I'll leave you with one thing, Kevin, before I have to go. Here's the thing. There's a difference between people say that what they believe. they believe. I'm actually starting to write some notes because I would like to write a book. Cause when people say they believe, I sincerely don't think they mean that. What they mean is they hope.
You don't?
So because there's no question they have no evidence, and the only thing they have is good feelings inside and what they hope to be true. So when somebody says this is what I believe, I really wish I could politely correct them and say, no, this is what you hope to be true. This is not what you believe. There's no possibility that any sane person could believe what they're saying they believe. It's what they hope.
You can't choose that for people, Russ.
It's wishful thinking. You can empirically. This is something that I'm working on. That it could be empirically be shown that this person is a rational person. I believe I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I believe I'm going to have a good day and celebrate 4th of July weekend. I believe these things. It's not guaranteed, but I believe them. I do not believe in unicorns. Because that would be ridiculous. So I do not believe.
Sad.
So when somebody says they believe these things,
I believe in unicorns. I want to believe. I do. I want to believe.
Seriously, I want you all, Russ, Tiffany, for a moment, step back and think about what we got here.
I want to what is it called? I want a unicornicus. Can I have a unicornicus for my birthday?
Shooting from the lip is the, per se, mothership, if you will. We have our Monday night show. We have our Friday night show. Tiffany and I, what we did tonight. We have a Wednesday night show, which is totally music, but it's just so different. To me, when I'm listening to you guys talk, I'm thinking, God, this is great podcast. And we are going to have a show where we do throw it out. Because I've already got his buy-in. Tiffany, you're a UK fan, right? Kentucky fan? Basketball?
I graduated
sports?
From there.
Oh, you graduated. Do you know the name Cameron Mills? Do you remember that name?
Of course. Yep. I was there then.
Cameron's been on my show many times for Monday Nights for Sports. But he has agreed to come on because Cameron is a pastor now. He has agreed to come on and do the God, no God debate with Russ. When we do this
does he know what
show,
he's getting into?
No, he does, because Russ graduated about the same time, and Russ respects. It will be a respecting. Russ won't bury him. He won't. But Cameron, and from that extreme, that's deep into the religious standpoint, will be part of this call. We will have a show, and I've got to make this happen. Because to me, I sit and listen, and I am fascinated, both sides. Russ, go enjoy your weekend. I love you, bro. Connect with me. Well, actually, we're not doing a show Monday. It's an archive show, but I'll connect with you next week, and I wish you well.
All right. You all have a great 4th of July. Thanks.
All right.
You too.
Take care, brother. All right,
bye-bye.
Tiff, so it was Russ, Will, Queen, Colleen, Tiffany. We're 12. I'm digging into. Wait a minute. Is the Queen in Florida too with you all?
I have more ghost stories.
Well, I mean, we do. I mean, actually, we're still technically recording. People can't listen to us, but it's still a show.
Man,
but
I could do probably another hour of ghost stories.
Oh, I'm sure. Russ, I mean, but I do. We have to have this religious show, if you will. And I want Colleen on.
You might have people yelling on there.
Well, you know what?
Some people get very emotional.
That's a good point, but I will moderate, even though I'm probably err to the side of Russ, not maybe to that far extreme, because I do think there is a higher power. There's just not a loving power. So when anyone says, when Tim Tebow's of the world, any sports guy goes, God is good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if you can say God is good, then I need you to say in your next breath that God is bad because of the little kid that just got abused, that came into this world
slaughtered,
born innocent, and got taken out or got hurt. That fucking, I'm sorry, breaks my heart. Whenever
it breaks mine too.
It kills me, and I question what we are
sometimes
all
I
about.
Wonder, this is really bad, but sometimes I wonder if youthful atrocities like that are sent to make us appreciate life and appreciate the love that we have for one another, and take that love, share it daily, and really, really love hard, and tell your kids every day, show it to
them. That's an absolutely good point. To me, I think the one thing, if everyone we know, or if everyone in general had this same mindset, is just to spread some good karma during the day. Take care of the person next to you that you don't know, that you're walking in a store or in a garage. That person, just take care of your fellow person.
Right.
We would all be in such a better place. To me, that's where it's not so much doing a good deed. I think that's like common sense. It's like, just if you treat others the way you wanted to be treated, just seriously think how much the world would get. I think present company, we're in good standing with, we're going to take care of, you'll acknowledge me as you acknowledge family. You'll treat me and with respect, and you would look out for me. And but the people, just everyone else, if they just said, and in some crazy ways, and this is going back to, do you remember that crazy statement that Ronald Reagan said back in the day when he brought in, how good Lord, Tiffany, I am coming full circle right now, when Ronald Reagan pulled the extraterrestrial card, when he said, if an alien force or alien being came and fought the planet, the world would have to come together. Do you realize how we just ended this show?
I love that. I love it.
How cool is that? But that's true.
Yeah.
If we all could flip and look after each other, the world would be in so much better place. And at that
we
point,
all just get along?
Well, yeah. In the immortal words of Rodney King, God love him, and I think he's dead now. But Ronald Reagan said, we just pulled a great soundbite. If the world was invaded, because our show is KT Unearthly, and we'd all have to come together as one, we'd do it. We would do it. And but the thing is, why wait? We should be. But at the same time, too, Tiffany and Colleen, I'm not going to go into the bad part of town and ask
test fate
those gangs to back me up, But because that's reality. Here we are. What is it? It's Tiffany. You're in Florida. Colleen, are you in Florida too right now?
Yes.
Jeez, how come I'm not in Florida? I'm the only one not in Florida. Why couldn't we have done a show together in Florida?
Well, we are, but you're just not here.
Recap tonight. Annie Wilder came on and just delivered it with her ghost stories. House of Spirits and Whispers, Spirits Out of Time, and Trucker Ghost Stories are her book.
I can't wait to read it. I'm really excited.
I know.
Yeah.
Annie has been on Coast to Coast AM with George Neary. She's been on Darkness Radio with Dave Schrader. Been on Jim Harold's Paranormal Podcast. Knows Micah Hanks. You know, we're all near and dear to Micah. I mean, it's a nice little family we got here. And then we got Colleen and Russ to be our icing on the cake tonight, too. What a way to...
Yeah.
He sounds like an actually interesting guy.
The truth is,
he does sound interesting.
I know Russ. I've known Russ for a long time. I do. I love him dearly. He is an extreme. He can be extreme obnoxious at times, but he is very smart, and he's very knowledgeable in what he believes.
Right.
I tell you what,
that's good.
He makes for great conversation.
Right.
He really does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I like to hear the other side of things, and people. I like to hear things from other people that I don't think exactly like, because I do. Sometimes I do kind of, they make me think things in a different way.
I've just challenged Russ. I'm like, Russ, can you take that power of suggestion or power of commentary?
Perception, maybe.
Yeah, and make those panties drop. Once you do that, then it's on. He can't do that yet, and I'm still trying to work that out.
I'm confused. Did you just say panties drop?
Never mind. That's totally different.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.